everyone, welcome to Arizona Dreams. Today we are continuing our Scottsdale tour and going into northern Scottsdale. I consider northern Scottsdale kind of divided around Shea. In the previous one you saw we went up to the markets in that area. So now we're coming into North Scottsdale, about 3 miles outside of Shea Boulevard. On my right is Talking Stick Resort. That's a big casino resort that is owned by one of the Native American communities. There's a lot of stuff going on here. On my right, you'll see the kind of blue floating in the sky there. That's supposed to be waves, and that's a big aquarium. That's a great attraction for kids. So if you've got little ones, that's a worthwhile day trip. It does cost to get in, and you'll have to look at the current rates. Scottsdale is huge, much like Peoria and some of the other ones that we've gone to. It's surrounded by Phoenix, Tempe, Paradise Valley, Fountain Hills. It's got some Tonto National Forest touching it, Cave Creek. So it covers a lot of area. I'll give you the stat on that. But right now we're going to head over to one of the things I think I mentioned briefly in the South tour, which is Frank Lloyd Wright's Taliesin West. It's an international landmark. He was an American architect, did some really cool stuff, but we'll see that when we get close to that. And we'll try to drive through some of the neighborhoods so you can get an idea. Know that North Scottsdale is much more expensive than South Scottsdale, and I will give you those stats too. So we just got off of the 101 on Shea Boulevard. We're heading east towards Fountain Hills, which there's another video for that. And you can see we're already surrounded by a lot of retail opportunity, a lot of restaurants. You know, you got Chick-fil-A, Red Robin, all kinds of restaurants sitting around here. There's banks. You got probably, I think, SRP, one of their power outs. So that's Honor Health there on the right. That's a pretty good size and pretty well-known hospital for the area. This is the 45th largest city in the United States by area. It's 184, almost 185 square miles of territory for Scottsdale. And it's kind of got a funky shape. I don't know how else to equate it, but if you think of a figure 8 falling forward and make the loops of the 8s more square or rectangle, that's kind of the shape of Scottsdale. There's a big gardens over here, which is a memorial. Again, there's another strip mall, and we're starting to come into some of the properties. So we're going to be turning onto Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, which is a pretty big street through this area, named for the architect, but you're going to start to see some really pretty views of the mountains, and that's kind of the reason why he came down here. He came down here in, I want to say, 1937 or something like that, because of these mountains over here. He was originally from Wisconsin, so a totally different type of territory for him to explore, and he ended up staying here. Again, it's fairly expensive up here. Also, the schools. We talked about schools, and I said I would give you the ratings. I will do that when I get to a place where I can read them back to you, but just know this: North Scottsdale schools are rock solid. I saw one 7 rated school, and the rest were higher than a 7, so 8, 9s, and 10s across the board. South Scottsdale, not so much. There were some that were down to, I think, 3s or 4s. So just like I said with the money, being up here, typically when you follow the money, you follow taxes, and taxes equals better schools. Typically, not always. So we're making our left-hand turn onto Taliesin West. You see right there's a big sign. Well, now you don't, but Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And right away you see the mountain. There's some apartments over here on the left, so you can still get apartments in North Scottsdale. Rent, I want to say, was $2,200 on average in Scottsdale, which is considerably higher than Phoenix Metro. But still, you've got your McDonald's, your Arby's. It's just like any other area. A lot of retail. There's another set of villas, they're calling them, but they're basically apartments. You got your Albertsons, Bashas, and Fry's are all in this area. South Scottsdale schools: 1-3, 3-4s, 1-5, and 1-9. North Scottsdale schools, like I said, everything 7 to a 10, and I only saw one that was a 10. Population for this area about 235,000 plus or minus, and it really depends on the Census Bureau data. If you go to Scottsdale site, I think they had it just slightly over that, but the census showed a drop, so there's that. Demographics, we got 81% plus or minus for white, 10% for Latino, 4% for Asian, and everybody else, you're under 2%. All right, so this is Taliesin West. The squares on the right are his kind of calling card, and you see it says Taliesin on there. I'm just going to drive up today. Maybe we'll come back and do a tour of this, do a video just of this. You have to pay to get in here, and it is a pretty, you could waste a pretty good amount of time here in that. But this is what we wanted you to see, to understand that this is what people were doing. They're coming out here to build on this mountain, and this property is not cheap. But this is why he settled here. This is why people are out here. This is what it's about. You got a private drive in there, so it's a gated community. Taliesin's less than a half mile in. So this is Taliesin. You can see the long structure out there. That's actually living space. And notice how he kind of built into the mountain. Pretty cool. Definitely worth the visit if you have the time. And it's a good part of American history. Again, this guy had a lot of influence over a lot of people all over the globe. So just wanted you guys to see this, because we want to show you guys the opportunities of things to do. And this is definitely one that you won't get every place else. So this is Taliesin West. This is North Scottsdale. You can see the properties are similar to that of Paradise Valley. I think I gave you the price average, but list price average median $622,000 for North Scottsdale. Just exited the 101 again, coming from back where we were, going towards Pinnacle Peak Park. This is Pima Road, and you can see there's some development up here ahead. A lot of this area is still pretty undeveloped as you get into further north of Scottsdale, heading towards Cave Creek and Carefree. You'll see some resorts and things like that up here. A couple of things that I didn't get to before. Median age for Scottsdale in general is 46 to 47 years old. 40% of the household incomes in Scottsdale, $100,000 or more. So that should give you an idea of what the cost of living and things like that are in Scottsdale. It's not exactly cheap. Median house income though is $76,000 in total. A lot of the communities in North Scottsdale are also gated, so, and not saying they all are, but just makes it a little harder to tour you guys some of the homes. Well, 2 new communities, not homes. I'll come back and hit those then. A couple of things that just wanted to tell you about. ASU Sky Song, that's is in the South Scottsdale video. Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts in Scottsdale. That's here. That's a chain of schools. And then the Arizona Culinary Institute is also here, and then there's a Scottsdale Community College. So just a couple of education or whatever career opportunities there for you if you're looking to cook or go to school.